Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Warped, a completely unnecessary Star Trek podcast, where we do unasked-for audio commentary of Star Trek episodes. Here are your hosts, Sean.
Get me to my regular doctor. They're familiar with my weird, things.
Matt.
It's completely bonkers, and I didn't understand what was happening like 80% of the time, but I loved it.
Jake.
His abs unfurled.
Phillipe.
I don't have honor! What's the point? I want to live and sing and dance.
Erin.
This show is so good, we're just like watching it.
Min Win.
Would you fuck, marry, or kill me?
All of that.
I would do all three. All three in that order.
And May.
Dear Diary, I kissed an android today, and he told me he felt nothing.
Make it so.
Like I hadn't done it in a day.
Yeah, no, it was real good. But I understand Philippe's point. It does sort of feel like it helped us flow into actually talking instead of this sort of like stuttering start-stop thing that we were doing before.
Yep.
Now I feel like we're in it.
Yeah, exactly. You need to kind of be led down the aisle.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're here. We're back. We've been on hiatus for a while, but we're...
Not to the listeners, we haven't, because we've been putting
that's true.
episodes out for the last 4 weeks, 3 weeks.
But
Just so everybody knows, our commitment has been faltering.
yes. We're back.
3 weeks ago, we started putting episodes out again, and we're 3 for 3.
We're on it. I didn't miss one week.
That's right.
Today we are watching Season 5, Episode 5, Disaster. And I got
a real good episode,
Love
you guys.
it. Love.
45 minutes and 31 seconds on the clock, and I'm punching the triangle in 3, 2, 1, punch.
Ooh,
This is probably a top 10
wow.
episode, don't you think?
I mean, it's super memorable for me. I love it.
It's got so many because it's got so many different plots
it's got,
that
like,
are going.
4 different plot lines going at once. Jake, do you remember seeing it when it was first on?
I do. The interaction between Picard and the kids, I think is the most, what stood out for me the most. But coming back to it, the Geordi Crusher interaction, I think, was a real nice bonus.
Yeah, Geordi and Crusher are a nice pair because they don't usually get much to do with each other, They don't usually have plot lines where it's just the two of them doing something.
By Crusher's choice, usually.
Oh, she doesn't. Yeah, well.
Yeah.
She's heard the rumors.
No woman wants to be in a room alone with Jordan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she's like, what if we just shot ourselves out into space? Like,
It's-
that would be okay too, right?
But you mean his letter where he says, I have a crusher on you?
Oh no!
What?
Well, I have some notes on your recent pun work that I took during Corrections Corner.
That was
today.
her second day aboard, too.
Yeah.
Just imagine.
Yeah.
Ooh. See, Geordi's actually gets to be good in this episode because it's all science. It's all.
Oh
plot.
yes, LeVar singing some Gilbert and Sullivan.
Oh right, I forgot about this part. I forgot that's why she's there.
Yeah, she's trying
to
convince
recruit him to be in her musical.
Yeah.
Don't make me sing. No, don't make me sing.
Because Beverly is an amateur, dramatist on the side.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
She likes acting and she likes directing.
These kids are so excited to be hanging out with Jean-Luc. It's the best.
He's like a god to them.
Right. Patrick Stewart and kids is just a great combination because he's so good at playing how uncomfortable Jean-Luc is.
Yeah.
He's great in this. He's wearing his awesome suede jacket again.
I love what they dress their children in the
Yeah.
future.
I mean, does
Look
nobody
at
get
that
to wear
thing
shorts?
that poor girl is wearing
I
right
know.
now.
She looks
My
straight out of Lost
God.
in Space.
I know. It was so
Like
much.
60s era Lost in Space.
Didn't we have some insight that was going to get dated quick?
Look at that.
Look
That's
at that,
just-
that ensemble piece.
I mean, none of them look.
No,
good.
they're all terrible.
They
they
all
all
look
have
uncomfortable.
grounds to sue their parents.
Like that pain smile on the kid on the bottom left.
And Patrick Stewart is hilarious in this episode. He's so much fun with these kids.
I would be mad if I were one of those kids because, in those outfits, they still can't go to the bathroom by themselves. But they should be old enough to go to the bathroom by themselves.
They're still like warping it out of. They're still like teleporting it out of their bladders.
Yeah, we've had lots of different theories about how that works in the past. I suggested self-sealing zippers, but you suggested beaming their pee out of them.
I had no recollection of that, but I stand by. But I'm consistent.
It might have been Min, actually. Now that I think about it, who first suggested it?
It's one of the non-essential energy uses that gets shut down when there's a red alert. So
whenever they're like, divert all energy to the bridge, like nobody can pee during that time.
No, you have to pee.
It really sucks if you're like right in the middle of it, though. It's just like I was completely relaxed a minute ago, and now I need to change.
Well, at least you can still pee. Just pee all over yourself. Yeah. It's fine. They'll fix it.
Highly absorptive future clothing.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Like you say, I think they just pee in their clothes, and then
we got to stop talking.
Then they just
this is the content our listeners.
At that
this
moment,
is one of the best episodes this show ever did. And we're back on how do they pee in the future.
Did those guys die? Do we lose some red shirts?
We have had half a dozen times.
Yeah.
I think people do die at some point.
We are watching Disaster. Original air date October 19th, 1991. Collision with a quantum filament leaves Troy in charge of a damaged and endangered Enterprise with emergency bulkheads cutting off sections of the ship.
That's what it's
Aaron,
about, right?
what do you think the IMDb rating of this episode is?
Well, I heard it's pretty good. We'll take an 8.1.
All right, May.
I'm going to go 7-7 because to me this episode should be called "I Am Troy, I Am the Captain Now."
That's right. Anybody else?
I'll go 8-2. 8-2.
I'll go 7-4 because I don't think people rated it as high as they should have.
I give these people more credit than they deserve every time because I'm always over. But I got to go with my heart. I think this is an 8-3.
7-9. May wins again.
Yep, good.
Hey, 7-7's a solid guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is a special episode. This is the last episode of Star Trek to air before Gene Roddenberry died. He died 5 days after 5 days? Yeah.
So when you saw this as a kid, Jake, you were into the story because there were kids in it?
I mean, I was old enough to know, to detect the awkwardness that Picard was feeling, and so I appreciated from that. And it's just a kind of interaction that you don't get to see a lot. I think.
How old were you?
I don't know. I can't.
We could do the math.
It could have
in
been
1991.
It could have been. It was probably
11.
But it was probably like a rerun
US
within the next couple years.
Oh, he didn't die.
He didn't die.
How old did you feel?
Spit up your drink.
I like this episode because they put
reverse drink.
They put everyone in weird combinations.
Yeah, I think they must have had a good time.
They're like, we'll put Troy on charge of the bridge.
Who's going to be in which story?
And we'll put Picard with a bunch of children.
It makes me wonder which idea they had first. If they had the idea of Troy has to take over during an emergency, or if they had Picard is stranded with a bunch of asshole kids.
She did.
She did.
Drink, everyone.
Drink.
Chief O'Brien getting a lot.
We don't lose a lot of crewmen on Next Gen.
No,
but they do. They do throw a few tissue in the trash every once in a while
when they want the stakes to be high.
Jean-Luc is in pain. Look at that pained look on Patrick Stewart's face.
He's so good in this. Aaron, you didn't see this one. Do you you care what's going on?
I do care what's going on.
Do you need a quick explanation, or
yes,
are you
please.
Cool?
No, I have no idea what's going on except
so
the ship
is just having a normal day. Everyone's doing their normal things. Picard is having to give a tour that he doesn't want to give to these kids who won the science fair, and that's the prize that they won, is a tour of the ship. Beverly's trying to recruit Geordi to be in this play. O'Brien and Keiko are about to have a kid, and they're trying to decide what to name it. Just a normal day in the life
I was
of the
thinking
ship.
about, when was the last time we saw Keiko? Because it doesn't.
It was
seem
like their
it's-
wedding, I think.
It doesn't seem like it's been long enough for them to.
No, I think it was one of them shotgun weddings.
As pregnant as she is now.
I mean, I can't believe they can't stand to be in each other's presence most of the time, so I can't believe they managed to have sex with each other, but apparently they did.
Yep.
So it's just an ordinary day, and then
use the teleporter. Go on.
That's your answer to everything.
Yeah.
That's your solution for all bodily function related questions. Well, they just use the transporter, obviously.
I'm like, you've got the best tool in the world.
This is literally the most efficient tool.
You're done inventing.
There's
Ensign Rowe's back.
Aaron, do you remember Ensign Rowe? We met her a couple episodes ago.
Yes.
She's Bajoran.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a bit of a wild card because she doesn't quite fit in with the Starfleet types. And she gets to play that part again this week in this episode, kind of. So they've basically crashed into a thing. It literally doesn't matter what the thing is. They've crashed into a thing, and it's caused the whole ship to shut down. So they're all cut off from each other. So each of these 4 storylines is completely independent of the others because they have no way to interact.
Yeah.
The communications are down, all the doors are sealed. So they're all trapped where they are.
Does this have a name when they do this kind of stories?
This is a bottle episode.
It's kind of a bottle episode because they never leave the ship.
Yeah.
And it all takes place in
existing
kind
sets.
of real time.
Yeah.
There aren't even any like alien guest stars. There's
just the people.
It's just the main cast.
Ensign Rowe is like the most guest starish person on this.
Right.
Yeah. And she is an alien, so she'll do.
Good enough.
Mm-hmm. Minimal.
So one of the things I like about this episode is I like the episodes that are like little puzzles they have to solve. You know, I like the episodes where there's a problem.
Yes.
And they have to think their way out of it. This is a very think your way out of it episode.
Yeah, I like it when they have think your way out of it episodes that aren't reliant too much completely on random Deus Ex technology.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's not all techno-babbly. It's like
that just
more
just came out of nowhere. Like at least have a callback in the beginning of the show. You know what I mean? Like at least put some effort into making it seem realistic in the universe.
I totally agree. So the reason, Aaron, that Troy is in charge is because she's technically the highest ranking person on the bridge right now. Even though she's not really a normal Starfleet officer, she is in Starfleet. So she has the rank of lieutenant commander.
Now, is it custom? Do they ever talk about it? Whether other counselors on other ships are?
We never.
They
even,
don't have to be.
See
Do they?
any other counselors that I can remember? Deanna might be the only counselor.
There is.
In all of Star Trek.
I was just wondering if they ever talk about the fact that it's weird that she's got a rank and is a
No,
counselor.
I think it's like one of those honorary ranks, you know, like
I think there are
she didn't go to the academy, but she has an honorary rank of lieutenant commander because she's the ship's counselor. It's like a high status job.
Haven't they talked about other counselors on the ship though? I'm sure she's been in a situation where it's like I don't think it's appropriate for me to be your counselor anymore. You should go to somebody else who is qualified.
Yeah, and we did.
Well, she did that with
talked
Barclay.
about that. I think it was Barclay that she was talking to, and I think it just seemed weird that she could possibly be the only counselor for a 4,000.
Well, and who does she
person
talk
ship.
to?
So we figured there must be, and then when she said that line about I can refer you to someone, or whatever she says, sort of confirmed that there must be other counselors. But if there are, she's clearly the head counselor because she's the one that gets to sit on the bridge.
But though I kind of secretly hope she was, assigning them to counselors who were not on the ship as a really passive aggressive move. Like, here, go see this person.
So the reason So Troy is technically in charge, but she doesn't really know what to do, which is why she was asking O'Brien and Ensign Rowe, like, what do you guys, who are actually, professional Starfleet people, what do you think we should do? And O'Brien's like, we should do X, Y, Z. And Rowe was like, we should also do 1, 2, 3. And Troy was like, good, go do that. So her plot is about her sort of like learning to take command and like trust her, instincts. Eventually, she will take like the officer training course and become an actual Starfleet person, and then she starts wearing the uniform.
That's right. You can do it 2 weekends a month for 6 months.
Yes,
we'll send you the
Starfleet reserves.
Yeah.
So each of these plots has a problem that needs solving. Beverly's and Geordi's is that there's this radiation leak.
It's her outfit.
This is
that little
problem.
girl's outfit.
Yeah, that's the problem.
She really looks like the little girl from Lost in Space from like the 60s.
I know. I love that they went with that thick piping.
That is some thick piping.
It is some thick piping.
It is popular in the future. Thick piping is always a popular choice in the future clothes.
So their dilemma, Geordi and Beverly are trapped in a radiation room. They have to figure out what they're going to do. Picard and the kids are trapped in the elevator, and he's messed up his leg. And he hates children. So this is basically Jean-Luc's worst nightmare is happening right now.
This is the real goal.
If you asked Jean-Luc, he would tell you this is the worst thing that ever happened to him on the entire show.
Worse than the Borg.
Way worse than the Borg. I was trapped in an elevator with 3 preteens.
Pining to be a Borg again is like dreaming about the times. Wasn't that nice?
I used to be a part of something.
I was assimilated.
No,
I never had to deal with children.
He actually gets pretty good at interacting with them right away, because it's in this scene that he sort of figures out how to treat them to get them to do what he needs them to do.
But is it real? Yeah, is it a real like familial instinct, or is it just cold Picard calculation?
It's cold Picard calculation. He's like, I got to get these kids to trust me, or we're all going to die in this elevator.
Yeah. He's really willing to sacrifice the needs.
So I think this is so cute. He gives them each some of
pips.
his little uniform pips. It's sweet.
Yeah.
the
Officer
least.
in charge of radishes.
Yeah. So this little kid's experiment involved radishes. He said they grew all weird. That's what he says when Jean-Luc says, "What did you do on your science project?" He's like, "I grew some radishes and they looked all weird."
Yeah, it was such a normal.
It's really funny.
It was such a normal
little kid thing.
Yeah, exactly. And you expect it to be all more complicated.
So this is plot 4. The gang in 10 Forward, which is Worf and Keiko, and then these two. So really there are 5 plots, because these guys are kind of in their own thing, and then Keiko and Worf are in their own thing. That's what I mean when I think it's interesting to think about how they put this all together. Like, if they came up with Troy being the captain, then they had to figure out, like, what's everybody else doing while that's going on?
Yeah.
And which combinations would be the most kind of fun to see? Worf and Keiko are hilarious in this episode. This might be Keiko's best performance.
Yeah.
Boy, nobody had anything to say after all that. I was just talking for like the last 90 seconds.
Sorry.
And when I finally stopped, you were all stunned into silence.
We were all watching the episode,
Yeah, this is a good one.
Too good an episode.
It's going to work against you every time.
Yep.
No,
This episode is very watchable. I agree.
For me, it's like a tour of the Enterprise episode. Like,
it is.
There's all these different places on the ship that we never really see because they're just like walking past it, or they walk in it and then they walk out.
Although I do find it hard to believe that Keiko is having a baby in the middle of 10 Forward, and somehow Guinan's not involved.
Yeah, you can't ask those kind of questions.
That seems hard to believe that she wouldn't be involved with someone having a baby in her bar.
I think you have to just imagine she's not on the ship, right?
Yeah.
You just have to be like, oh, Guinan is like a cosmic being, so maybe sometimes she's like on an alternate plane of reality.
That's what
or
I
whatever.
remember.
I think she's trapped in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Or she's trapped in the bathroom. Or there's a simpler answer. She's trapped in the bathroom this whole episode.
She didn't realize
That makes so much more sense, Jake, than the nonsense I said.
Hello.
She comes out at the end and is like, what happened? What did I miss?
Yeah.
Keiko's got a baby.
Do not go in there.
Do not. The toilets were not on emergency power.
I was
Transporters were not online.
That was
if
the
you
person,
know what I mean.
That was the person you were talking about, Jake.
Yep.
The one who was right in the middle of the transportation of feces.
That's right.
And ended right in the middle of
Turned out it was Guinan.
She comes out and she's like,
Guinan the whole time.
She comes out and she's like, even my hat is soaked.
The hat's what locked her in her bathroom.
We've got some Troy Ensign Rowe beef going right now. You know, two ladies in charge. They just can't trust each other.
Oh, that's not what this is. That's a little unfair to this story.
Yeah, Ro is just very much like, we got to cut our losses.
Ro is not a Starfleet gal. She's a Bajoran, terrorist.
Freedom fighter.
So she has a very pragmatic approach to things. The dilemma they're dealing with, Aaron, is that there's a problem on the ship that could potentially kill everyone. But there's a solution, but the solution might not work. So what Ro is saying is we need to cut our losses, separate the ship. Remember how the ship can separate? Mm-hmm. Remember that? And get the rest of us out of here and leave behind the people on the other half of the ship because they're going to die. And O'Brien's like, no, I think we should, try science. And then, and so now Troy is the one who has to make the decision. But Ensign Ro is like, what are we talking about? You can't make the decision. You're the freaking counselor. Like, your title is honorary at best. And you shouldn't be the one to make this decision. Right? Isn't that basically what she says? I watched this, but it was a couple weeks ago.
I think it's coming from, like, Ro kind of has captain envy. She's just like, if in this type of situation, I should be the captain. But they give it to this chick, I'm the one that's just going to make some hard decisions here.
Yeah, I think that's definitely part of it, too. And it's just, like I said, she's just pragmatic. She's a survivor. So she's going to be like, look, this sucks, but we got to go.
Women, they be beefing.
Breaking it down. Thank you, Sean.
That's what's really going on.
Yes, because whenever women fight, it's always a beef.
That's right.
But when men fight,
is this another plug for
it's
your
just an
book,
argument.
Sean? Beefing and queefing.
What have we talked about? We need to start pushing towards the red pillars in the world.
Oh, yeah. You keep trying to pivot the podcast.
We need to get some new viewers.
We need some...
So I'm trying to get some
sponsors.
QAnon people on our side. Mm-hmm. Oh, speaking of sponsors, I had the creepiest advertisement. I was listening to a podcast, and an advertisement for a 7-Eleven that had opened a block down the street from my house, like specifically for that 7-Eleven. And I'm like, how the fuck do they know? Why would there be a local commercial on a podcast?
It's kind of odd that 7-Eleven would need a commercial. I mean, if you need a 7-Eleven, you're going to find it, right? I don't know.
It blew my mind.
That's like that scene in Minority Report where he gets all the ads that are
targeted at you.
Somebody has your geodata.
That movie got a lot of predictions right, Not the seeing the future part, but...
So he missed that Data's Captain America moment where he like
Yep.
stepped into the lasers and he's just like, I'll take one for the team.
Almost sat myself.
Yeah. But then he like opens up his head and later we just get like head data.
Right. Because his body, the thing was standing in those lasers shut his body down, but his brain is still working. So Riker is going to remove Data's head.
Yeah. I think that'd be fun. Just have like a Data head. Just like
Sure.
running around.
That you could hang out with.
I bet Brent
accessory.
Spiner has one of those, those fake Data heads that they would use every once in a while. I bet he has one in his house.
I think someone should make a purse that's just a Data head. That'd be a fun purse.
Just hang around your off your shoulder.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good idea.
Have the insides be like lit up like the positronic brain.
Right.
Sort
That was
of
Christmas,
assembly.
Christmas LEDs.
It's the only way I can find my keys.
So the problem here is that the turbo lift is unstable, which is why it keeps shaking and rattling like it has been. And they got to go. So they got to get out of here.
Yep. All those safety measures. The one time it breaks,
Right.
it kind of fails.
They have exactly one safety precaution in the turbo lift, and it's like
You would think that them being in 0G, you wouldn't die in an elevator crash where there's literally no gravity.
well, they never really do any of the artificial gravity isn't working because that shit's expensive.
Yeah.
Like they're on a TV budget.
Right.
Maybe the 0G was stuck in the bathroom, so
Right.
it couldn't get out. And affect
Well,
it.
Guidon's in charge of 0G.
Yeah, she didn't turn it on.
She-
And she's dealing with hat issues.
0Gs are underground club. Where
There's some 0G stuff in Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country,
There is.
which we'll be watching relatively soon.
Yes, very soon.
That's fun. We haven't seen the old gang in a while. It'll be fun to see them one more time.
Yep.
He's like, okay, this game has gone long enough where I'm humoring you. Now I'm
All right.
back to yelling.
Here she goes.
Right. He's telling them to get out, and they're saying, we're not going to leave without you because you're our captain.
And he's like, the brass on this lady.
The balls on this kid.
Even Riker doesn't talk to me like that. He knows better.
And you're...
Yeah, I love it.
The Stones. I just turned into like Sinatra there for a second. The balls on this.
It's mutiny, but it's cute.
Yeah, it's cute when little kids mutiny.
Yeah.
If these
I
were
mean-
adults, Picard would be fucking ripping them a new one.
I think the old naval laws permit execution in this.
Oh, excellent.
Emphasis on the cute
That
and execution.
look at that.
Yeah. The
That thing's got to be
execution.
hot as hell. That poor pink girl.
Yeah, well, all the guest clothes, the casual wear, all looks like it's made out of wool,
Yep.
which can possibly be comfortable in front of TV lighting. You know,
Ugh.
I can't imagine that. I don't know. I can't imagine they weren't all just sweating all the time.
Well, Jordy's got a plan.
He's gonna Geordie.
Stop touching me, Jordy. Stop touching me. I don't care if you have an idea.
We've spoken about our personal boundaries.
She's feeling hot, but she will not take off that jacket.
No, she's
because
not going to take off that jacket
Oh,
ever.
jeez, he just has to touch her as he walks by. Jordy,
Yep.
you got a problem, bro.
I'm just
They're friends. Come on, like let's not be too mean to Jordy. I mean, he's not a bad person.
Sounds
I
just
think
like
they
one of
all-
them men's rights guys.
I think they all genuinely like Jordy.
What is Keiko doing? She's helping other people.
She's doing triage. She's supposed to be doing triage, but what she just said to that lady is, "Hold this up to your head." And so the lady already had the thing in her hand, And she's there. She's doing it right there. She's like, look, it goes like this. It goes on your face. Because the lady's just holding the thing like 6 inches away. And Keiko comes over and pushes it onto her face. And it's like, it goes like that. I'm like, oh, Keiko's a good nurse.
Well, she's a teacher, right?
She's a botanist right now.
Doesn't she become? Oh, does she become a teacher on DS9?
I think she becomes a teacher later on when they go to Deep Space Nine.
Here comes the baby.
So this
Worf is gonna have to give birth to a baby.
This is the comedy plot line.
Yeah.
Because Worf having to deliver a baby is just a hilarious idea for a storyline.
It isn't.
But it can't become it's not a full episode. That's why I wonder if they if they had these little tiny ideas floating around, like, wouldn't it be funny if Worf is deliver Keiko's baby? But those aren't ideas that you can make a full episode out of, right? So I wonder if they just had lots of little tiny ideas and were like, what if we did all of these in just one episode and put all of our fun little ideas to work?
I feel like there's a chalkboard where all the ideas left over from the end of they didn't get picked.
The stuff we didn't do.
And just let's do all of that.
I like how they had to excuse themselves to the conference room.
They couldn't do this on the bridge.
No, this is where they have these conversations. It's in the conference room.
So the one other person on the bridge wouldn't have to feel embarrassed.
Right.
The poor... they wouldn't let the black guy into the conversation.
They didn't want to have to pay that actor for an extra day. They were like, get the 3 regular characters in the room together. Lose the extra.
Guy's working for scale.
But this is a classic conference room scene because they're talking out the problem.
Yeah.
And Ro wants to cut and run. Miles is saying, actually, maybe if we could figure out a way to send a message to engineering, they would be able to fix the problem. They don't know there's a problem in engineering because all the power's out, so they can't look at the computer. So they're trying to figure out a way to tell engineering what they know up in the bridge, which is that the ship is in trouble. Right?
Yep.
Did I was that right?
Yeah.
Again, just the silence is staggering.
Oh, sorry, watching
stop
again.
talking.
I mean, I'm sure engineering knows that there's a problem, but yes, they do need to communicate. And if they execute a plan, part of that plan will involve some communication with what they need to do. So.
I feel like Miles even says they don't even know there's a problem because they don't have any of their sensors to detect the problem. Like the warp core is going offline or something, something like that.
Science.
Science.
I mean, it's always the warp core going offline. The technology in Star Trek is often unreliable. For a story about where they've taken over a good chunk of the galaxy, ship breaks all on the regular on the ship.
Why did he tie her with the Christmas lights?
Yeah, they pulled a bunch of the cables out from the ship, from the walls, and he's tied them all together. This is the funniest joke in this episode. It's coming up. The little girl gets to say it. It's the best line in the episode. He's trying to get away. He's trying to cheer them up. He knows he needs to improve morale. And they're like, we can't do it. And he's like, let me cast my mind back to officer trainings and how to motivate unhappy soldiers. And he's like, oh yeah. Then the elevator falls.
Ooh. Clean effects shot.
I guess there is.
Yeah, that didn't look bad.
Yeah.
That might be one of the ones they redid. Or did they redo? Maybe they redid just the space ones. I forget now. They may have just redone the exterior shots.
They just might have been on the ball that day.
Yeah, that was a good effect for TV budget.
Yeah. This is where the kids break down.
No, she's doing her job.
She's a good first officer. She's telling Picard there's a problem. Because Picard is not emotionally awake enough to understand that the little kid is scared.
Yeah.
There's the joke.
The laughing Vulcan and his dog.
What he says to them is, we need a song. We need like a sea shanty, a climbing song. what songs do you know? And the little girl says, "The Laughing Vulcan and his dog." That's the best line in the episode. And John Luke's like, "I don't think I know that.
Let me sing a song that's 500 years old."
So his solution, because he doesn't know the Laughing Vulcan and his dog, is to make them sing Frere Jacques, which they all inexplicably know.
Of course.
Yeah. They all know it.
That was a song I was taught
It's
in
500
elementary
years
school.
later. They still know it.
Nothing.
But he doesn't know the Laughing Vulcan and his dog. That song has got to have been a hit. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's, little kids know about it.
Yeah.
It's not like they're that hip to what's popular. You know, it must have been a big hit.
It was
It's-
the Baby Shark.
when she says the Laughing
Right.
Vulcan.
Yeah. It's the Paw Patrol of their day.
Yeah, she's very funny, the way that little girl, when she says the Laughing Vulcan and his dog.
I gotta say though, I knew Frere Jacques, and I distinctly remember being taught it regularly throughout elementary school in different languages.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, everybody does or did, but I doubt that happens now. And I certainly don't think it will happen 300 years in the future.
You're slagging Frere Jacques over here.
I guess you. And
I
the-
don't think it's a timeless classic. Is all I'm saying.
You and the writers of the show disagree.
That's right.
I mean, row your boat.
It's because he's fucking French, so they were like, "Well, it has to be a French song because it's Jean Luc."
And there's only
French-
one
and
French
there's only
song
one-
Americans
There's only
know.
one French lullaby that all school children are taught.
Oh,
This is all very funny.
I've simulated giving birth.
Worf's strategy for dealing with this situation is to be very clinical. He's like, the tricorder says you are fully dilated, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, no, that's not what I need. I need somebody to, talk to me and tell me it's going to be okay.
Sing Frere Jacques to me.
Yeah,
Worf.
that would have been a great callback. If he had busted into Frere Jacques. That's going to be awesome.
And all he knows is the Laughing Vulcan and the dog.
Right.
That's his favorite song. Maybe that's a Klingon opera song.
Right.
The Laughing Vulcan.
Worf
and his
loves
dog.
Klingon opera. I don't know if they've has that been established yet?
I don't.
He likes Klingon poetry. That's established.
Yeah.
Well, who doesn't?
Yeah.
So what Beverly and Geordi are doing, Aaron,
It's not advisable.
is not advisable. They're doing the classic Sigourney Weaver move. They're blowing it out the airlock.
Yeah, it's pretty badass though.
Right. But they just kind of hang on. The effect is really hilarious. 'Cause
Yeah.
And
It's
hold your
clearly just, okay, turn on the wind machine.
Yeah.
And the wind machine goes on, and their hair blows around for like 15, 20 seconds, and then it's over. It could not be more low budget, but like in a really charming, that's
on to
great
your butts.
kind of way.
It seems to me like it's a bad plan to have the
Wind
open
machine,
and
wind
close
machine, wind
buttons being so far away from each other. Because look where the open button was.
It was right there.
Yeah.
But he has to
And
go all the
then
way across the room.
closed one is on the other side.
It's like 30 feet away.
Steve Jobs had this fit.
Right.
Had
He's
to-
got to get all the way over there to
And
turn
then
the air
he's gotta
conditioning back on.
They gotta go all the way over there to get a third button
Get the air on.
to turn the air on.
There you go.
This seems like bad planning.
Right.
To put those
You
three
would
buttons
want those
so
buttons-
far away from
You
each
would
other.
want those buttons closer together.
Just saying.
I totally agree.
It doesn't seem like very efficient.
Why do you have to go all the way across the room by the exit to the ship?
You know,
To turn the air on.
the
The air should come on automatically when the door closes. There shouldn't even be a button. That should just happen. The door closes, the air comes in.
Why do they even shut the air off anyways?
Right.
Why can't the air just stay on the whole
Just be on the whole time.
Why does it just gonna get sucked out into
You know,
space?
stingy with the air, man.
Why was it off? Yeah, you're right.
Why does it even turn off in the first place?
This is a real design flaw detected.
No, you guys, come on. guys.
Well, that's it. I hate this.
I
episode
can't
now.
believe this crap.
They had to get rid of the oxygen so the fire would go out. You know that.
Oh, that's right. That is why they had to turn the air off.
Science,
Jake's
science,
right.
science,
Jake's
science.
right.
Is
Jake's
this
right.
working?
When he's right, he's
And
right.
you gotta believe that because Geordi would have totally died there. It was Crusher that actually reached the button.
Yeah, she's the one who goes.
She was like, "I am not gonna die.
I'm
near
not
a
dying
Geordi."
trapped in a shuttle bay with Geordi LaForge.
I don't want to hear the stories that are going to come from that.
The stories will last decades.
There's the shot. There's the Troy and the captain chair.
Right. So Troy is not willing to abandon.
Oh, there's Data Head.
Yeah.
Data head. Data head.
Another one of my
May,
favorite
you left your
episodes.
purse.
What, Jake?
You left
Yeah,
your
it's May's
purse.
idea.
Yeah,
Data
there
Head.
it
I was
is.
just saying, is a great episode title.
Yeah, that would be a
Data
good
Head.
one.
I think if you type that into Google, you'll get some interesting
Yeah,
results.
Clash at Data Head.
Oh, now I want to look up Star Trek TNG porn. It must exist.
There's parodies.
So Data's telling him what to do.
Don't expect me to do everything.
This
here,
is
Will.
funny. Riker puts the thing in the wrong hole, and Data's face goes all wonky. He's like, stick this whole thing in the hole.
And he's like, that is not.
No, that's not it.
He's such a goof.
He's such a ham. Brent Spiner's
He's
just a
so
ham.
good.
Love it.
Data's made mostly of ham.
Looks
That's a
like
little
he's
known
gonna. You see the trailer for season 3 for Picard,
Yeah, they're all back.
and it looks like Lore is back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they're doing it season 3?
Yeah,
They're finally
the
doing
whole-
what everybody
the whole-
wanted
all
all
7
along
are back.
and just bringing the entire cast back. Which
Worf
is all,
looks
which is all everybody's
badass.
been wanting.
He's got gray hair.
Awesome.
They all look great.
They
I
all,
think.
yeah. Beverly looks great.
Yeah.
We've already seen Riker.
We've seen
and
Marina.
LeVar
shit.
Burton just
I
looks
was gonna
exactly
ask
the
Aaron,
same.
I was going to ask Aaron if she could. I was just listening to an older episode for Corrections Corner where Aaron couldn't name the actors on the show,
Oh no.
and I was
Are we
here. We
doing
are in season 5,
Update?
and I was going to ask you what Troy's name is, but I already said Marina. Do you remember what her last name is?
Starts with a T.
No, there's
Got-
a T in it.
It's got a T. It's like Picard likes tea.
I forgot her last name.
Her Marina Sirtis.
That's
is her
right.
name. But yeah, we've seen her, and we've seen Data or variants of Data.
Yes, lots of
Lots
Brent
of
Spiner.
Soongs, lots of
Lots
doctors,
of relatives of
lots of
Dr.
doctors
Soong.
Soong.
Doctors soon.
Attorneys general, you know.
The best one was when we were talking about Gene Simmons.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
If Gene Simmons and Gene Simmons were in a party together,
Yeah. How would you refer to them?
would you call them Gene Simmons or Gene Simmons's?
They're
Gene
the answer is
Simmons.
they're Genes Simmons.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah,
Here's Worf's great.
Whoa.
Here's Worf's big joke in the episode. You are fully dilated. You may now give birth. That's one of those little. That's one of those things that gets gifified a lot. If you look at Worf gifs online, there's a lot of "you may now give birth."
The internet.
This is just another battle to him.
And Worf's like, "Well, this isn't going at all the way the book says," and he's gonna have to get in there, and he doesn't want to.
There's screaming. There's a great wound involved. It's just another warrior's battle.
Yeah, he should just think of it as a battle.
Yeah, Worf. Think of it as a battle.
I have some things to say about whether or not about Worf's rigid penis and other rigid penises.
You mean with ridges?
I mean ridged, not rigid.
Rigid.
Ridged.
You were writing some at TNG
penises ridged.
porn right there.
They were penises ridged.
I mean, at some point, it's going to be both.
Which is a Corrections Corner thing from an earlier episode. where Min was asking if, well, actually, Phillipe started it by saying that Worf's ridges went all the way down.
Oh,
this is a 6-month-old baby, everybody. You know how they always use like old babies to play newborns.
Jesus. I know the way you said that made me feel bad for old babies. Oh my god!
Old ass babies.
Ageism in Hollywood is real. If you're 6 months, you can't play a newborn, man.
Yeah, you're an old ass baby. Get out of here. Get out of your old ass face. Get out of here. Making me
bring me a new baby.
New baby. Well, I swear to God, I was shocked at how little the baby was the first time I saw a real newborn. Because I had been totally destroyed. TV made you think babies were huge when they came out. Because they were always 6 months old babies. I was like, wow, that's really small. I didn't know they were that small.
Well, I'm glad I made you feel sorry for the plight of old babies.
I was just like, I felt really bad for them. Just like, oh,
okay,
man.
so we completely missed the ending of the episode.
Just thinking about their,
Everyone
confidence
fixed
levels.
everything. Everybody won.
Keiko delivered
Keiko had the baby.
But the important part for our guys is that Troy stood up to Ensign Rowe and said, "No, I'm in command and I'm doing it my way." And she ended up being right. She saved the ship. So now she's fucking with Riker by saying, "Well, I kind of liked being captain. Maybe I'll go to command school," which she actually does end up doing.
So what do you think of the little girls' new outfit?
That's better because there's no piping.
There's a little piping on the shoulder.
Yeah, but that's way better than that.
Yeah, it doesn't have the shoulder piping.
That garden hose they had wrapped around her earlier.
It was a shimmering sea snake.
So they've come to reunite with their captain, and now he likes them.
Yeah, he's gonna
the only children that Jean-Luc likes in his life.
Right.
He's going to take him to the battle bridge
Right,
now.
because in the very first scene, the kid asked, "Can we go to the battle bridge?" And he was like, "Absolutely not. We're going to go to the Arboretum."
And then he said something to number one, and she said, "Aye, sir," along with Riker.
Riker also said, "Aye, sir."
And then Picard winked at her.
And then Picard winked at her. It's so cute.
It's the best thing that can happen.
Then Riker
as
sent her to
Picard's
the
leaving.
brig.
You're sad he's going, but you want him to wink at you.
We talked once about how if Patrick Stewart, or I guess specifically Jean-Luc, but just Patrick Stewart in general, ever looked at you and said, "Well done," that you would feel like that was the best feeling that you've ever had.
That was the greatest compliment
entire life.
anyone could ever give you.
Now it's the Picard wink.
Yeah.
If Jean-Luc Picard ever turns and winks at you,
Yeah. That's a good feeling.
You're done.
You're done.
Yeah. The knees go to jelly.
We're also done.
We finished the episode, guys.
Wow, this is what it feels
It's such a
like.
good episode. I really enjoy that one a lot. Oh, this is
yes.
previews for next week. This episode next week is The Game, which Star Trek fans will know is a fucking crazy.
It's a romp
episode.
It's a great episode.
It's so terrible. I can't wait to talk about it. Sometimes it's easier to talk about the bad ones than it is to talk about the good ones.
Yeah. But this is bad in all the great
It's bad
ways.
in the best ways. If you ever wanted to see what everyone's orgasm face looks like, you get to tune in next week, and you will absolutely see that.
What's an orgasm face?
Let's talk off mic.
Philippe's just never made anyone have one.
So I guess we'll. Next week's episode is less interesting than this one. So I will save Possum News, Corrections Corner, and Connect Them All Up for next week.
Sweet.
Thank you all for listening to Warped. Go to iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts to rate, review, and subscribe. Email us at warpedthepodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at WarpedTrek. Follow me at HostWarped. Follow Min for our Dungeons and Dragons and Call of Cthulhu live plays and podcasts.
Find it. Listen
At
to
Wet Maynard.
what's it called? Off the
Wagon.
Off the
Chapter
Wagon.
1 is out
Fucking hilarious.
now. I started listening to Chapter 2 because Min sent me a link to it.
Oh,
It's good.
Ugh.
Instagram at Warped the Podcast and at Lunar_Flare. And I think that's all of them, right?
That's enough.
That's good enough. Until next time, my name is Sean.
My name is Matt.
I'm Jake.
Phillipe.
Aaron.
I'm mate.
Thank you for listening and good night.